Hey.
Hey, how are you? welcome in Poland. Welcome in Wrocław.
Thank you. This is quite a city.
It's first information. Now it's the third biggest city in Poland. It was fourth, but it changed like month or 2 months ago.
So it's
so it's like Chicago.
Oh wow! It's Warszawa. If I say
it's
correct.
Warszawa, Warsaw, then Kraków, and Wrocław is
And then
the
Wrocław.
third. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks to the Ukrainians refugees.
Oh boy, that was the influx, huh?
Yeah.
That did it. That pushed it from 4 to 3.
Definitely. This is because Ukrainian people really like Wrocław. They choose this city a lot. So now we are the third in Poland thanks to them. Thank you.
It was a pretty big surge there. It was is it now 10 or 20%?
Even more. It is approximately 20% because we have like close to 100,000 Ukrainians in Wrocław, and Wrocław is 600,000. So it's more 15 or 20%. I don't know if I did some math mistakes. Sorry, but you have data. And now you can count.
It's enough to push you to the third biggest city, which is impressive, and it's beautiful here.
Thank you.
It's funny. I think I could be wrong in this, but I didn't know much about Wrocław until I came to Poland, and then learned more about Poland, and it is such a wonderful place. It's charming. It's big. It's bigger than I expected. And it has so much rich culture and history, and an incredible university, and tons of cool events are here. I know you guys hold lots of cool.
Nice to hear that. It is very interesting city with a long and huge history of a lot of nations, because it was a German city, it was a Czech city, it was a Polish city. So it is melting, and this melting pot maybe gives a lot of energy to the city. And now we have so much visitors and refugees and migrants from other countries, and it is good for the city. It is good for the quality of living. It is good for domestic for the natives, and I think those. People, inhabitants, really likes that we have. Now we have a lot of visitors and a lot of guests, and new inhabitants. Yeah, because we think and we want that a lot of new people, new inhabitants in Wrocław will stay here, not just a month or for a year, just forever.
And I suppose that's part of the goal, right?
Yeah, it's a part of a goal. It's a part of the city policy. We want to have them. And we try to make them feel good here.
Yeah, and I know, of course, one of your major initiatives, being on council, is to combat xenophobia.
Yeah, because I'm a city councillor and also a special advisor to Meyer for tolerance and counteracting xenophobia. So I'm doing that for more than 3 years, and in special times now we know in this matter, and I think we have done some progress in these matters. So even that there's kind of a position advisor for tolerance and counteracting xenophobia. I'm the first one with this mayor. Is significant because before me there was no such a position. So this is important for the mayor and for the city authorities.
Well, it's impressive that there is a position specifically for that, and of course the position, if I understand correctly, is tolerance and xenophobia. Right?
Counteracting xenophobia. I'm not supporting xenophobia.
Oh right, right. Go xenophobia.
Go racism.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. Do you find since you've joined in this capacity, what are some of the advancements that you've seen here, and of course, how does that relate to some of the current events that's going on, whether it's with Ukraine, with racism, LGBTQ, any of the above?
Yeah, because the reason why the mayor create such a position, I think it was that we had some problems with xenophobia, with racism, with anti-Semitism. So for example, in 2015, so it's like 6-7 years ago, there was a huge thing happened in Wrocław. Some far right activists, we can say, burn a Jewish puppet on the city square, and it was very. It was famous. Wrocław. This action was in CNN, BBC, Al Jazeera, etc. So from that time, a lot of people in Poland and all over the world heard about Wrocław, or like a city with some guy burning Jewish doll, Jewish puppet. And there was some other actions. I don't want to bore you, but so we had a lot of kind of situations with anti-Semitism, with racism, with hate speech. In general, with hate speech. So I proposed to the city authorities, proposed to the mayor Jacek Sutryk, to some actions to counteract this, and we have now in 2022 we have like absolutely no kind of actions. Those far right activists, those nationalists now are not active in Wrocław because we interrupt them those actions. We pursued them a lot in courts, in police. So now they know that they cannot do this in Wrocław without any consequences, and they don't do that. They move to some other cities because there are no so many such a radicalists in Poland. So they need to move to other city where they can do this. Now Wrocław is not the place to do such a things without any consequences in court, in police, in prosecutor office. So
your incident rating regarding this is close to zero, or actually zero?
Close to zero.
Yeah.
Close to zero, because those people know that if they for example, if they are celebrating the Independence Day with hate speech, they know that me personally, with some other clerks and with lawyer, will be there and will watch them. And if they do something bad, if they do something like criminal hate speech, we will definitely interrupt them, pursue them to the court, and courts will sentence them. Because now we have...
And they know that that's you.
They
too.
know, yeah.
You're
That's my
coming.
job. Yeah, that's my job.
Do you show up at their door?
Yeah.
Do you knock?
No. This is the police.
Okay.
But police.
Are you behind the police?
No, I'm not.
Stand there
I'm not. No, but the police do that, and we have a lot of sentences from the court.
Yeah.
That and court said many times that this is illegal. You cannot do this. Hate speech in Poland is a crime. So we'll sentence you if you do that again.
How do we get rid of that in America?
It's kind of a zero tolerance policy.
Yeah, how do we get
nothing new?
How are we still having this problem in America?
You have such a you are different in criminal law. You treat very differently freedom of speech, freedom of gathering, freedom of in Europe, not only in Poland. In Europe, our boundaries are not so wide. So I think in United States, you can read Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler. You can buy it, and you can have and show, for example, Nazist signs like swastika. I don't know how it's in English.
Swastika.
So you can go on the streets with swastika. You can do this in United States because it's a matter of freedom of speech.
Sure.
In Europe, you cannot do this. Generally, you cannot do this because this is crossing the line. This is crossing the red line. So that's the difference.
What are the, and of course, I know that freedom of speech has its place in Europe, right? It's not that there's no freedom of speech here, but you draw the line. What are the line? Is the line anything that represents Nazi Germany?
No.
Is it?
It's not it's not in Polish, for example, in Constitution, we have kind of a law that said exactly that Nazism and communism is bad. So you cannot promote Nazis, for example. You cannot establish Nazist party in Poland, for example, and you cannot promote this kind of ideology. But it is just one of examples. For me, and we have in European conventions that you cannot hurt someone's feeling with your words, with your actions, and this is the line.
Yeah.
And we know this this idea have like 200 it's from the 18th century that you cannot the freedoms ends when hurting someone starts.
Feelings or physical?
Feelings or physical, yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, in polarized matters, and I'm guessing Poland and Wrocław has polarization just like any other place. How do you know what's hurting someone's feelings and that needs to be addressed as a something that's not allowed versus something that's simply a polarized event that people feel very strongly against?
When some activist says that Jews kill small babies, it is obvious because it's not true and it hurts to some community.
Sure.
Yeah. When someone says, and we have a huge problem nowadays, like for 2-3 maybe more years in Poland about hate speech targeting LGBT community. So, for example, we have in Poland, also in Wrocław. I also sue this the organization, because we have in Poland, also in Wrocław, organization that promoting kind of this idea that LGBT people hurts babies. Yeah, and they promote this idea on billboards, on
like
public,
raising children, for example. When you
for
say
example,
baby?
yeah,
Okay.
and it is also they suggest that LGBT people commit sexual crimes against kids. Yeah, more than non LGBT people.
There's a higher rate,
and you can find this sentence on billboards. You can find it in websites, and it's a problem because it's a huge because when I pursue in courts and so on, for example, for hate speech against Jews or against Arabs or against Ukrainians, I have. It was not such a big law issue, because I have this law in Polish criminal law that says that hate speech against nationalities, religions is a crime, but no sexual. We cannot find this about sexual minorities, so I cannot pursue them in a criminal law.
Huh.
So I pursue them in a civil law. So it's a lawyer things.
Very nuanced.
Yeah,
thing there,
yeah. But we fight. But now there is no.
Where are they getting that from? What are they? Are they using a piece of information from that?
Yeah, they have. They said that they have some data, some scientists from United States that said, for example, being gay or lesbian is something unnatural, and they really hurt kids. Yes, and they put this kind of bullshits in websites, on billboards, and because it's not a crime in Poland when you are talking bullshit against LGBT. We are doing this in different ways. Yeah. It is much more difficult than in when it goes to anti-Semitism, for example. Yeah. But we are trying to do.
So there is that line of hurting feelings. Like, you can talk BS. Mm-hmm. Right, at whatever you want, even if it is hurtful. Mm-hmm. So there is some line. It sounds like saying that they hurt children.
Mm-hmm. First,
it seems to be okay from a criminal perspective, but not okay from a civil perspective. Mm-hmm. So, but I guess there is a line there. If you say that they kill babies, that would be a criminal offense.
No, if you are talking about LGBT in Poland, if you say Iwan kills baby, it's a crime. It's a crime. But when you say LGBT kills baby, it's not a crime in Poland.
Huh?
Yeah, because crime is when hate speech targeting nations, religions, and so, but not, for example, disabilities, not, for example, sexual minorities. This is the law. We need to change it.
I see.
Yeah, we need to change it. But
group interest groups.
Yeah, interest groups. Yeah. You have few interest group who can be a victim of hate speech, criminal hate speech, but it's not enough. For example, there is no sexual minorities there, and now it's a problem because we have very conservative government, and they won't change it. We need to change the government to have this change and a lot of another changes. Yeah.
Wow, that's so interesting. So the nuance there is something that's recognized as an organized group, in a sense, or something well established, perhaps, is considered a criminal offense. But if it's an interest group, it's not.
Yeah. Sometimes, and even European Union, for example, have working on European law that will help to counteracting hate speech, also against, for example, LGBT people. Yeah, but it is
that an EU law specifically?
Not now, but they are working on it. Yeah. There are some soft recommendations, that you should have this law. You should have as in education some programs, etc., but not in criminal law, because also criminal law is more matter of national laws, not EU law.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't be accused as a criminal under the eyes of the EU. In Poland, it's strict to the national policy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. So, how does that affect, to some degree, the national policy versus local policy? I know there are some differences in how we do things in the U.S., and if I understand correctly, there's limitations on new taxes that you can create or new revenue streams. And we were talking earlier a little bit about some of the complexities of since a lot of new mandates that have been required of you, but the funds aren't there. You can't create necessarily new taxes, right? Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, you do. Especially from the U.S. perspective, it's something odd, maybe, but this is not Poland is not a federal state. Yeah, it's a United States. So this competences for local governments are not so big, not so wide, like justice or taxes. It is in Warsaw. It is in the central government. They decided we cannot, like you. You have 8% tax in. I'm guessing because I don't know, in Kansas, and in California you have 12. Yeah,
you can't do that.
We cannot do that. We can establish some local taxes, like the tax for having a dog. This is the kind of a tax. And for tax for having a flat. Yeah. This is in local government, but these big taxes like income, I said correct, income tax, it's from the government. They established that, and then theoretically they have to share with the local governments. It's like half and half, 50-50. So we took in local government, our revenue office take the taxes, and then government share these taxes with us like 50-50. but
That's nice.
This is 50 to 50 is when we are talking about this income tax, because they no, maybe I shouldn't. It's also my government, yeah.
Right.
But central government give us some things to do, yeah. Like for example, schools, yeah. Schools are in local authority, but we need to have money for teachers, for buildings, etc., etc. So they have to give us some money to do this thing.
So they said, give an example here. It was like they said more. You need more schools or more classes, or what was specifically the mandate that requires more resources that you don't have?
How to say it? Because schools are in the city, in the local government, but money for the schools come from central government, and
Always.
not always. This is in theory, in law, it should be like this, but in real life, it is like in Wrocław the money for schools, it's approximately 2 billion zlotys. Zloty is a Polish currency. It's 2 billion zlotys, and they give us Warsaw give us 1 billion, and we need to find this another 1 billion to provide everything, to have money for teachers, for kids, for schools, etc., etc.
Yeah. We're gonna just for these. We're gonna take a short break here to thank our sponsors.
Yeah.
Which seem today to be Nałowianka.
Nałowianka.
Oh, that little E with the thing under it.
You don't have this
like
letter.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages. So I should say thank you to Studio Makers. We are here at the Studio Makers studio in Wrocław, and it's a lovely studio.
We have some American cars here.
These are American cars, I suppose. Yes, they are. And some cameras, which are very nice, some old school cameras. And this is a lovely place. It's always wonderful coming to these a new studio.
Yeah, it's a nice place. I think we feel here all right.
Yeah. Well, we got together and it's like we got to find a studio.
It's a good area here, atmosphere here.
It's a nice atmosphere, and so thank you, Studio Makers. And so we were just talking about the amount, really what they're asking for, the central government's asking for, say requires X billion dollars, but you only have $1 billion.
Yeah.
So what do you do in this situation? So they must know that, right? They know that there's asks that are bigger than you could possibly handle, and you're restricted in what you can and can't do. So how are you handling this? What's the solution?
It's a pure politic, because local authorities, especially in huge big cities in Poland, are not from the Law and Justice Party. This is this right party in Poland that govern right now for 7 years, and so local authorities don't cooperate a lot. Maybe the central government don't cooperate with local authorities, and central government, we can say that punish locals for this lack of cooperation. That's so. And they said, you want 2 billion? So okay, we don't have it. I will give you 1 billion. So this is a politics. And what can we say? We can say to our inhabitants that we we can't, for example, build them another tram line or sub.
So you take the money from one place and you're moving it to another, or are you just not providing? Is the compromise to just not provide certain things because of that?
We have money because thanks to our inhabitants, because the biggest part in local budgets are from the income tax. So if Polish people are having more money from 10, 20 years, because they earn much more than 10 years or 20 years, and thanks to that we have more money from their taxes. So we can build new schools. We can build some new tram lines. This is what is happening a lot in Wrocław right now. But it's not really fair, because in law and there is such an agreement that if you ask for something, like for education, to do something, you need to cover it. You need to provide money for that. And education is in a central government. So if they want us to control schools, to do schools, to do teaching, and etc., they should provide money for that. And they don't do that. They do that in half. It's not a big problem in big city, because in big cities people are more rich. It's a quite huge budget here. But when I'm talking with local authorities from small cities, really small, and they say me, in our budget, education is 80% of our budget, and we have absolutely no money for other things. I'm talking a lot about the education because it's all in Poland. It's always the biggest part of the local budget. Always in Wrocław is it's 2 billion in 6 billion budget, but in small city like my hometown is 30,000 inhabitants city, so it's not big. It's a 60% of the budget is for education, and it should be none. It should be zero, because every zloty should be from the central government for education.
So how is this being addressed? Are people fed up with this? Is this something that
people don't know about this? People puts babies, kids in schools, and I don't want to. They want to have good education. They don't care if it's from the central government, from the local government. They don't care about. They just want to have a good education, good schools, good teachers. Teachers, like everywhere, earn some shitty money. I don't know but it's I think international problem that teachers are not enough. But people don't know if it's from the mayor or from the prime minister or from the minister of education.
Yeah.
So it's a inside knowledge.
Yeah, like I suppose. Yeah, and that's one of the ideas I think of this podcast in general is I've realized from being civically active on my own in Santa Monica and in Los Angeles that people don't generally understand. Most people just don't know how basic things work in government.
Yeah, of course.
They're not super concerned with it, but they do tend to get very frustrated with national politics or international politics. Everyone seems to watch the news and get the headlines and get all ramped up about things they can't control. And my goal here is to get them to take action on very often things they can control in their local communities, to get involved. It's always been what I stand for. So
I absolutely agree. And we used to say in Poland that pressure makes sense. Pressure makes sense. Pressure from the people. Yeah. So there's so many examples that pressure makes sense. Like this week, we have this kind that we have the book. It's a book for learning in schools, again schools, that was full of bullshit. This kind of it's a book for history of Poland. Yeah, it's a new one from this far right Minister of Education, and he asked some far right scientist professor to write this book for kids, and it was so many bullshit like LGBT are sick, that in vitro is bad. That only Kaczynskis are good in Polish history. There is no Lech Wałęsa in Polish history. That like doesn't exist. Yeah, and so.
Can you explain what like for the American audience who may not know that word?
Lech Wałęsa?
Yeah.
Lech Wałęsa is like Havel in Czech. It's our Mandela. It's our Nelson Mandela, the leader of anti-communist opposition, democratic oppositions 40 years ago, 30 and 40 years. Also a first president of Poland in 90s. So it's a hero in Polish history. But he still lives and
he's alive.
He's alive.
Alive and well.
Alive and well, and but he's in a conflict with ruling party now, and they don't. They want to erase him from the history, and they do this. They do this like in schools. And there was, after people saw this, parents, when parents saw this book, like it was a week ago, yeah, and said, "Whoa, what is happening here? What it can?" And there was so many protests. There was so many pressure. And yesterday, they said that they will change this. They will change this book. Or they will erase this this bullshits in this book.
This was a new history book that was being proposed to be, and this was just this week, last week.
Yeah, this week. This week. Yesterday, 2 days I wrote some manifesto in Wrocław to manifesto to teachers that they shouldn't teach from this book, and my boss, my mayor, accept this and also stand and say, please teachers, don't use this, parents, please don't buy this shit, just don't use it, and it happens in a lot of cities in Poland, especially big cities. Yeah. But first was the mayor of small city in the east part of Poland, a week ago. And he started, and after him a lot of mayors, teachers, professors, scientists said that you shouldn't use this book. And yesterday, the central government said that first they will erase this most controversial parts in this book, and secondly, they will find some other book.
Or some other book.
Yeah. So the pressure, it makes sense, and there are a lot of examples that pressure makes sense.
What do you think that says about where we are at as a planet, mm-hmm. in terms of the information that people receive and what they read, what they believe, and then how they start going about living their life in that way? It's always been, and especially now with social media, with deep fake, mm-hmm. artificial intelligence and bots and everything is practically writing content. Lots of content writers, like automated content writing. You just write a blog article. Where are we with the level of trust that you would put on the general information that's out there?
First, I think we are on the edge. I mean about climate, yeah? So we are on the edge. Secondly, I think that truth is caring about truth. That's is the one of the most biggest challenge right now, because for many years, but now it's very big problem. We don't listen to the scientists. We don't listen to the science. We don't read. We are in the bubbles, in information bubbles, and we need to have some regulations. We need to have some ideas for regulation, for example, for social media, or to that we can have a control about the information. We need to control the information because there is no more something like a true right now, because everyone has his their own true, and it shouldn't be like that, because there are some facts,
objective truth,
objective truth, yeah, like that we have a climate crisis, that there was a Holocaust, like I don't know, objective facts. Yeah.
Sure. How about that? You and I are sitting here right now having a conversation,
and we need to care about these facts, because now we don't care about them.
So how do you get to that fact? Because I've actually I love asking this, but when I ask people what a fact is, I get different answers. So one of the things I say is, first we have to get into agreement on what the definition of a fact is, because I don't know, one, that people agree on that, but two, that people even care to agree on it. And if they don't care to agree on it, then they continue to live in their bubble. If the goal is to find common ground, then one of the things is having a common lexicon, right, and a common vocabulary. When we say fact, we need to be talking about what a fact means. People just say, "Oh, these are the facts. These are the facts," and you're like, "What are the what does a fact mean to you?" So I'll ask you, what is a fact?
Yeah. Facts is a true. Facts is an objective truth. That's why we need to care about the language. For example, I really don't like the sentence fake news. What is fake news? It's
fake news.
Fake news, yeah? Fake news. What is fake news? Is it a lie or is it true? Because it's a kind of an euphemism. Something is sometimes, not always. There are some gray parts between black and white. Yeah, sometimes there are gray, but there are objective facts that we can say something is a lie, something is a true. So that's why I don't use the word fake news. I use the word lie. Someone lie or not? It's your ex-president really loved the word Donald Trump fake news. It's a fake news. It's a fake news, because even Donald Trump wasn't so I don't know, ignorant that he can say that a climate crisis it's a lie. Or look at the difference, even in a language, in English, even in English, when you say climate crisis is a lie, or you say climate crisis is a fake news. It's a difference.
For sure. Yeah. It's important.
Or pandemic of COVID is a fake news. Pandemic of COVID it's a lie. So I hear difference. So I don't use the word fake news. It's a lie or it's a true. So why I'm saying about that? Because we need to care about our language. We need to control our language. It's a first thing. Secondly, I think I don't know. I know that it is very not an American way of doing things, but we need to have regulations. Yeah, regulations. We need to have regulations for charging, pursuing for lies. Yeah, for example, journalists or columnists. People have to care about what the politicians, especially politicians, politicians, journalists, leaders of opinion. Yeah, so they really need to start saying true, control themselves, because they are leader of opinions. And so it's a matter of regulation, it's a matter of law, sometimes criminal law, and it is linked with our first part of our conversation, because when I pursue someone for hate speech, I pursue it. It's a matter of regulation, because I have this regulation in criminal law, so I need to have it. So law is a language law, and third, last but not least, education. Yeah, education. So you cannot, I think, say in school as a teacher that there's an opinion that this was like that or this was like that. Yeah, like about, nie wiem, I don't know, Darwin evolution. Yeah, I think that there are some facts in history, in science, etc., that they are objective, and I have this I have such a story, because my teacher in school, in high school, started with us that evolution is not sure, it's not objective, because he was a very religion man, and said that it's not true. And then kids believe to teachers. They should believe to teachers. Yeah, and so yeah.
Well, it
language, law, and education.
Language, law, and education. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and this is interesting. Things as compelling as Darwinian evolution. Mm-hmm. It's not a law. It's not proven in the way that you would perform a physics proof, right?
Yeah.
Right, and it's technically still a theory, as is general relativity, right?
Yeah, maybe.
So how do you difference that? Even that, but it's so compelling. There's no other explanation that's as compelling as that. That's why we all believe it. It makes so much sense. You don't need to look very hard to figure out why evolution. You know, you have a child.
Yeah,
I have a 9-month-old too. You can see that these little kids are monkeys from the
yeah, I can see. Maybe evolution, this Darwin theory, is not a pure example for objective truth. But for example, we talk about a lot in Wrocław about in vitro, because now in vitro method for having a baby. Yeah.
Yep.
So because we now we give money from the local budget to parents who want to have this in vitro method, to use this in vitro method, but it was like 10 years discussion about this, because people from the religious people, conservative people, said that we cannot, because our religion said that it's not natural, it's not good. And it was like 8 or 9 years of discussion. Now we have some more progressive authorities here, so we budget that. but we still can hear from that it's not a science. It's not that it can hurt someone. Yeah, in vitro method. And in this book that we are talking about 5 minutes ago, this author said that babies from in vitro are produced. Yeah, are from the production, not from. They are not from birth. They are from production, and nobody who can love them. It was from. It was in the book.
Yeah.
It was in the book for schools. There's no problem if someone writes something like that, and 100 people buy this book, and it's a freedom of speech. Okay, I understand that. But when you put this bullshit in a book for learning, I think it's a problem.
Well, it also actually hurts a lot of people.
Yeah,
who maybe couldn't have had natural birth.
Yeah.
And now they have to do this.
Yeah, I'm cooperating with some other lawyers, and we now you can see me as some crazy guy who pursue everybody. So yeah.
To some degree, that's your job.
Yeah. I'm a lawyer. I'm an attorney. So I will sue the author with some other lawyers. It's a cooperation of lawyers. We are writing now. We are working on that, and we will sue the author and the Ministry of Education and this company that published that for this words about in vitro. You
guys have a nice suing policy here in Poland. It's almost as good as America. You could just sue everyone.
As an attorney, I would like to have this opportunities like in States. Yeah. So
you could just sue everybody in America. You don't like something, you just walk in
I
the
know,
car
I know.
and then sue the guy who hit you.
And in Poland, it's not this kind of sue like I described with this book. It's a controversial thing in Poland. I don't know how it will end. We think that we will win this with trial, but it's a controversial. In United States, it would be like, oh my God, like 2 days and the plea. Agree. How do you say this contract with when the people are agree and consensus? Yeah, after 2 days. In Poland, there will be like 3 years trial.
So I think we have just a couple of minutes left, and I just, I want to jump back on one thing that I think is important, and that is where to draw the line on fact and fiction. Or a lie. Where is their gray area? Where is their perspective? And we were on, Darwinian evolution is one of them. And what do we think we should leave people with when we say, look, here's the information at hand. There's lots of information out there. But the stuff that you should take as truth, right? That means your personal truth versus accept that is your personal truth versus understand what objective truth is and where we need to create the boundaries so that people don't get so angry with one another when someone feels differently than them on something. And that's part of what I'm here to do is get people to see that there are lots of ways of looking at things, and we don't have to call people mean names. We're not going to get anywhere if we do this sort of back and forth, hateful approach to solving problems. Even people we disagree with the most need to be thought of in a way that's their perspective. Now, when it comes to hate speech and things like that, there is a line. So I guess the last point here is, what do we want to leave people with to tell in terms of how to look at information and think about it as a truth or a fact so that they can live their lives understanding the world a little better?
Well, it's a tough one. But yeah, First, I think we need to be very respectful to each other. We need to listen to each other. When, for example, when someone you had this in United States when Afro-Americans said, "Don't use N-word," just don't use N-word. We have some other examples in Poland, for this, just to do that. So need to be respectful, need to listen to each other. Secondly, I think we need to listen to the science. Yeah, I think there are still some people from science, some scientists, some professor that they really know what is truth or what is not. Education, and we have to read more books than Facebook. Yes, I'm sorry, but it have to be something like that. And third, this I will come back to that. The regulations, the truth has to be. We need to care about the truth, and we need to protect the truth in some ways. For example, thanks to the law and to the regulation, we need to protect the truth, because the truth won't protect by herself, if I can say this in English.
Sure.
Yeah, because it's not enough. Of course, this technological progress, social media, this that everyone can connect to people, and this is really great. This is good time for humanity. This connecting work, this globalization, etc., etc. But there are some consequences, and we need to see. Firstly, we need to see these consequences, and then protect these values that are threatened. Yeah. So I don't mean we need to shut down Facebook and Twitter and etc. Yeah, but no, but we have to protect the truth and have some regulation on that. And it is happening slowly.
Great. Well, I want to thank you for taking the time to meet with me.
Thank you that you are having me. It was interesting, and it was surprising for me that some guy from Santa Monica, California, found me in Wrocław, sent me an email. Let's talk, and sorry for my English. I know it was a lot of mistakes, but I think that you understand something.
Absolutely. It's important. It's important that people understand that the world is bigger than they think it is, and there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of ways of looking at things. Law is different in different places.
Yeah.
The things we take for granted in some places, people just don't even have those privileges in other places, and vice versa. The grass is always greener on the other side, and sometimes it's important that we all enjoy where we're at and learn to just treat each other well. And
definitely.
And that's it.
Yeah. So I forget to say that I love California. I was there 4 years ago, and definitely want to come back. And I think Santa Monica is north from LA or south from the.
Santa Monica is part of LA County.
Yeah.
And LA is a county. I think a lot of people don't understand. It's a huge piece of.
Yeah. Because I was in LA, and I thought when I was going from San Francisco to LA with Big Sur and so on. Yeah, I had a lunch in Santa Monica, I think.
You did?
Yeah.
Do you remember where?
At the harbor, you have this some restaurant at the harbor.
On the pier?
Yeah.
On the pier?
Pier. Yeah, pier.
With
Yeah,
the Ferris
I know.
wheel?
Yeah. On the pier on the pier.
Bubba Gump Shrimp?
Yeah,
No.
Maybe. Yeah, I saw it. No, Bubba Gump is from Forrest Gump. Yeah, no. But I was on the pier, or in Santa Barbara, or in Santa Monica.
Great. Thanks again, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. And this is a wonderful conversation here in Wrocław. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me, and just listen to each other. Yeah, we need to listen to each other and teach each others. Yeah,
that's right. So much love and respect to all those out there listening. Thanks for listening in today.
Thanks.
Thank you.